You know, I've noticed that the people who complain about the current state of, you know, the economy and, franchise and whatnot, how it all basically boils down to uh, don't complain, just consume product and then get excited for next product. I have noticed the people who complain about that are also the people most likely to cling to product and consume product and get excited for next product. Um, it's just a funny thing I noticed, no, just kind of noticed it. Nothing big, nothing big.
Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money.
Oh, you know what time it is. Shill time. If you look down in the description, you'll see a link to a Patreon, a Rumble, and a Discord server. If you want to see the uncut versions of these videos, go ahead check out the Rumble. I cut these videos to fit YouTube's wonderful content policies, so if you'd like to see all the spicier jokes and things that YouTube would beat me with a spoon over, go ahead check that out. If you want to come hang out or chat or tell me I'm a fucking retard, go ahead and give the Discord server a look. And finally, if you think my content is worth it, go ahead and give the Patreon a look. You know, patron subscriptions will encourage me to continue doing this. Maybe so I don't have to get a second job. Don't know. And, it'll just help me improve the quality as well. Anything that goes into the Patreon will go back into the YouTube videos in some way, shape, or form. Also, once I finally get one patron subscriber, I will finally remove the annoying as shit Discord notifications. Marketing. So yeah. Also, if you liked the video, go ahead give it a like. If you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to annoy your friends with my amazing voice or my squeaky chair, go ahead and share it. All right, back to the video. So just kind of for starters, this is a thing that I've dealt with this a lot with 40k fans specifically, but this isn't a 40k specific thing. I have dealt with this in other communities as well. There is, with a lot of these franchises that have been executed by wokeness, I have noticed that there has kind of been a theme of clinging to these franchises as hard as they possibly can. And making claims like, oh, the fans actually own the property, and the fans actually own it, and attempts to rewrite it in their own way and to try and, like acting like clinging to it will somehow force it to change. And at least in my own personal experience, people who suggest to just abandon it and let it go its course, let these companies do what they want with it and let it die, there's almost a mockery of, oh, well, you're letting it happen, you're part of the problem, and et cetera, and well, I'm gonna be honest, the people clinging to it are the problem. Let me explain. And like I said, I'm going to be using 40k a lot as an example because I think it's most noticeable there. But this happens a lot more. It kind of happens with Halo. Star Wars, I'll give credit where credit is due. Star Wars is those people have mostly accepted their fate. Kind of D&D and Magic, not as much, but a lot of these culture war affected properties kind of seem to suffer from this. These properties, these companies have adopted political ideologies. They have begun pushing these ideologies. They have tried to alienate their original market base. Like I said, 40k, for example, is doing a splendid job of this. They're actively, and I've seen videos from Games Workshop managers literally admitting that Games Workshop hates their customers and wants to try and chase them out in favor of a new market. And these people cling desperately to their franchises. and they act as if that is going to solve it. And I have criticized many of these people. I've been in a couple of debates and arguments about this over how clinging to it does not change anything. It justifies the approach these companies are taking to continue taking it, and they get offended by that. And that this is a bit of a problem. As somebody who wants to see the death of woke culture and wants to see the far left's grasp of culture die and finally let good stories come back, this is a problem. And again, I'm going to use 40K as an example here. 40K has been around for almost 40 years. It has built a very dedicated fan base that loves its lore, that have, they grew up with the game. It's very special to them. I understand this. And with the current state of 40K, it's basically dead. They have thrown out their own lore in favor of identity politics. They've finally made the move that will let them make female Space Marines. Before that, there was the female Custodes. In 2018, there was the whole Warhammers for Everyone incident, going after fan content, going after a guy that makes Battletech shit. All this stuff. It's very clear that Games Workshop is a company that despises their current market and really wants to shake them, and this market won't go away. And I understand why. This is a beloved thing for these people. They grew up with it. This was their childhood. Like, it's hard for them to let go. I get that. And funny enough, I had a couple of these people say to me when I criticized them for their behaviors, like, well, it's easy for you to say you haven't had something special like that taken from you. Actually, I have. When I was a kid, I know I've already established this, I am big into Bionicle. I still collect used Bionicle. But at age 11, I was faced with a tragedy. Bionicle Generation 1 was canceled. After 10 years, I was convinced it was going to keep running, and it was canceled. And I had to really just accept it. I didn't break down in emotion and act irrationally, but I had to come to accept the fact that it was canceled and that it probably wouldn't come back. That something that had played arguably the biggest part of my childhood was gone. And it could only exist in memory and in what I already had. And to really kind of help with this, LEGO brings it back in 2015 and immediately has to cancel it again in 2016, and many people saw the reboot as a bastardization. I personally found things to enjoy in the reboot. It was definitely not perfect. Its criticisms were legitimate criticisms, but there was things to be enjoyed. But even I have to admit, and back then even I had to admit, that I had to look at it and go, this is not the Bionicle I grew up with. This is not the same. Dare I say, this is arguably worse. And so I had to come to terms with this very early on in my life. That nothing lasts forever. These franchises that we grew up with, these stories and hobbies that have become deep passions of ours, to the point of almost, becoming pivotal parts of our life, they're not going to last forever. And sometimes they won't die peacefully. It won't be a peaceful cancellation like the original run of Bionicle. Because Bionicle isn't the only time this happened to me. I also grew up with Halo. And Halo, again, very pivotal part growing up for me. I loved Halo. Halo is the reason I like military sci-fi. Halo is the reason why I like more realistic sci-fi. There's things in Halo that weren't really realistic, but it was, in its own right, heavily grounded. It's why I like the things I like in many ways. It's why I even bothered getting into 40k in many ways. I like military sci-fi, and I like military sci-fi because of Halo. And I watched Halo get bastardized. I watched 343 take over and botch the franchise 5 times in a row. The Halo CE remaster was kind of botched. Halo 4, while I did enjoy it, was botched. You know, the gameplay was fine, but the story was out of place in its own rights, and it completely ignored previous stories, lore-wise. Halo 5 was extremely fucking botched. It didn't even feel like a fucking Halo game. The story was ass. And then Infinite actually manages to, in my opinion, have a decent campaign and a really good gameplay, but its release is botched. They can't even finish the game, so that gets fucking botched. The multiplayer gets filled with stupid politics. That gets botched. The TV show, so I guess they technically botched it 6 times. I have watched 343 botch and fuck up Halo again and again and again and push their own politics with it. It's a dead fucking franchise now. Halo used to be the shooter along with COD, and now it's the most current Halo game can't even get over 10,000 players. It's in the single thousands. And Master Chief Collection is only good if you want to play with friends because of all the fucking hackers and shit, and it's still in many ways a broken game. That's not the Halo I grew up with. That's a complete bastardization. That sucks. It really sucks. I grew up with that game. It was like the second video game I ever played. And so I had to come to terms with this stuff pretty early on in my life. So when I hear these people say, you don't know what it's like to lose something, yes, I do know what it's like to lose a franchise that's that close to me. And this is actually why I realized the importance of letting these things die and move on. Nothing is new. Nothing is new under the sun. This happens. Nothing lasts forever. Things come and go. Stories come and go. Franchises live and die. But you know what? If you cling to a corpse of a rotting dead franchise and try to force it to keep going, and even worse, try to force it to keep going the way you want, one, the company is going to fight back. Newsflash, you legally don't own it. Okay, I hear a lot from the 40k fans. Oh, the fans own 40k because they made it popular. No, they don't own it because they made it popular. They gave it a bunch of money and they own their models, but they gave money to Games Workshop to continue it the way they want. Because Games Workshop owns Warhammer. And trying to demand they do what you want with it is only going to push them even further away from you and justify taking the direction away from you. So, for one, you keep this bloated corpse going, and all you're doing is keeping it going in the direction it's already going. You're not fixing anything. You're not making anything better. But second, you are keeping anything new from taking its place. I used to be into 40k. In fact, just being honest here, I really got into 40k. I started in 8th edition, and by the end of 9th edition, I had collected 10,000 points of Black Templar Space Marines. That ain't a small army, and that ain't a small chunk of change. I threw a lot into that game. When 10th edition came around, it wasn't fun. I just let it go. I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. Maybe I'll play some 9th edition, but yeah, this is done. I'm done with this. This isn't fun. When they started pushing the female custodies and the female space marines especially, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fucked. I'm done. This is cucked. This went woke. I'm done. Moving on. Same with Halo. You know what happened? For tabletops, I looked to other tabletop games to play. I am now more invested in BattleTech and Halo Flashpoint. I know that BattleTech's kind of started going woke too, but they haven't touched any of the old lore. And if they do start really fucking it up, I will leave it. But until then, the games are fine. The old lore is fine. The models are fine. And as long as that stays fine, I can ignore the new shit and just get the models. I'm fine. Worst case scenario, I'll just leave that too. And in the case of, like, you know, lore in video games and you know, things of that, you know, like a universe to enjoy and a story to enjoy, Battletech again. But also Helldivers. Around the time that I decided to leave 40K and really kind of give up on Halo Infinite, I had kind of given up on it a bit prior, but not by much. Helldivers came out. And Helldivers is owned by a... I don't care what stupid drama dinguses claim. I can factually prove those people wrong. Helldivers is owned by a company that plays video games, wants to make good video games, and treats me well as a customer. They respect my time. They respect my wallet. They actively avoid shoving politics in my face, you know, real world politics. They make a fun game with an engaging universe that is, it both meets my interest in more grounded military sci-fi and is also goofy and funny, and I like goofy, funny things, and it does it in such a way where the two don't clash. And I love it. I let go of 40K. I let go of Halo. And there was room for Helldivers. A new thing that I found I enjoyed, expanded my interests. When Bionicle got canceled, and I still collect Bionicles, I still enjoy Bionicle, I still enjoy the lore, I still have, again, I know I said I still collect it, but I have a very respectable collection, to say the least. But I accept it's gone. I don't really want to see another attempt at it being brought back. Even in that case, I moved on. What did I move on to? Just Lego in general. I collect Lego in general. I really like the Speed Champions, funny enough. I'm not even a car guy, but I love the builds. And I get, like, the big ones. And Transformers kind of took the spot, too. I was been into Transformers longer than I was into Bionicle, but with the wiggle room of Bionicle being discontinued, I started looking into Transformers more, and I got really into Transformers. So things like that. When the previous king dies, metaphorically speaking, something new can take that throne. When a story has run its course, when a franchise has run its course, it needs to be allowed to die. And you need to let it go, so that something new can take its place, so you can broaden your horizons, and so you can let new people with fresh, creative ideas take that place. That's one of the biggest things with the fiction industry, with video games and tabletop and movies and all this stuff, is that corporations have grasped the seat of power so hard and refuse to let anything new take its place. They don't want to make anything creative. They want to keep the same thing in power because they know that's what made them money. So they want to keep the same franchises going and going and going. And part of why we're seeing the death of woke culture is because they ran these franchises so hard into the ground that they can't force them into power anymore. That's why new things are starting to take their place, or resurging things like the Doom franchise. But these things need to pass. Nothing lasts forever. You have to let go of these franchises and let them die so that new things, headed by new, inspired, creative people, can take hold. A story for a new generation. A new story for you. But I will also say this. Those franchises, though they may be dead now, though people may be wanting to take these things and manipulate them and butcher them to push their own fucking ideas, there is one thing they can never ruin and one thing they can never take from you. And that is your time that you had with them. The enjoyment you had in the past. Games Workshop may hate your guts now and may want to ruin and destroy Warhammer for you now. but they can never take away the fun that you had back when they didn't hate you and back when they did care. They can never take that from you. But Lego can cancel Bionicle, but they can never take the time that I enjoyed with it. They can't take my collection. And though they can change the story now if they wanted to, that doesn't change what the story was in the past when I enjoyed it. Same goes for Halo. Yeah, Master Chief Collection ain't the greatest thing, but you know what? The old games work still. I boot up Halo 3 and it's still Halo 3, and I can still get my friends together to play Halo 3. And they will never take the time I enjoyed with Halo 3 in the past. Catalyst might want to change Battletech into something woke and crap now, but they can't take away what it was. And they honestly really even haven't tried to. I'm very surprised that they haven't tried to retcon shit into hell. At least they got rid of the Rommel tank. That's about it. Those things are yours. Those memories are yours. You can cherish those, and nothing can take those from you. But clinging on to the past as if it were the present will destroy your future. And it'll destroy the future for everyone else. Think about it like this. People are clinging. Again, I'm using 40K as an example. That's the easiest one to use. People are clinging to 40K desperately, which is making it harder to die. And they're justifying Games Workshop in doing this. You're either interacting with it, thus encouraging other people to get into it, or you are still directly giving them money, which justifies them to keep going, because this tells them it doesn't matter if they shit on you and destroy what 40K is now, you'll still support them in some manner that keeps them going. And this has been the case so effectively that now they have BlackRock money. Congratulations. If you hate GW and hate what has happened to 40K, you enabled it by clinging to 40K so hard that GW now has BlackRock money. They have no reason to give a shit about you. Good job. But more importantly, you're going to keep that thing going, and you are hindering anything else from really taking its place. And now, I'll also say this, the collapse of these things is inevitable. It will happen. You cannot avoid it. You're just forcing it to overstay its welcome and implode instead of a peaceful goodbye on good terms. Nothing will be, and that'll make it harder for something new to come along and take its place. There's a lot of ex-40K fans, and myself included, that are trying to make their own games that really could benefit from 40K just being allowed to die. There's a lot of people working on their own video games that could really benefit from Call of Duty and Halo finally being allowed to rest, instead of the companies making them being shut down by Microsoft so they can keep fueling Halo and Call of Duty. If Halo and COD and this shit and Assassin's Creed and all this stuff, if these things are all allowed to just run their course and die, new things could be taking their place and would benefit from that. But right now they're not able to flourish because there are these large bloated corpse franchises that people are clinging to desperately. I would like to end this video as my offered solution with a Bible verse. This is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 14. I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity, and a striving after wind. Striving after wind is what you are doing if you are trying to cling desperately to these franchises. If you're trying to push these claims of the fan base owns the franchise, they get to decide what happens, etc., etc., you are clinging to vanity. Vanity is useless. It means useless or worthless. striving for air. Air is essentially infinite. We're not running out of air. There is no need to chase air, and it is worth nothing. Essentially. It's nothing. Smoke in the wind. This is what you people are trying to cling to so desperately. This is what you people are trying to refuse to let go and are trying to prop up continuously well past their prime. Vanity. Nothing. Useless. No value. Chasing the wind. Striving for the wind. You don't work for air. You don't struggle for air unless you're being choked, I guess, but that's beside the point. It's nothing. It's junk. It will not last forever, and it's not worth it. There are more important things in life than your childhood toy franchise or a made-up story that has no effect on reality. Let it go. Let somebody else create in its stead. But stop struggling so hard for this. You're fighting for something that is worthless. Humanity has been entertaining themselves for the entirety of our existence as a species. Before we even knew what a fiction was, we were playing with sticks and rocks. Let it go. Move on. You have more important things to worry about than a stupid toy line with an idiot story that has been butchered to push somebody's idiot ideology. You know, these woke people who are fucking up your franchise to put their to push their ideology on society. You realize they'd have absolutely no fucking power if y'all could just be like, it's done and move on. They'd have no power. They'd lose all their power in society if the approach to them screwing with the things you like is just I'll go find something else. But to say that the people doing that are the problem? No, they're the solution. You're the problem. And I don't say this to bash. I say this as constructive criticism. Let go. You are striving for wind. It is vanity. It is meaningless. It is worthless. Something else will come along. Something else should come along, and you are robbing that something else of its chance to shine. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and please consider subscribing to the channel for more of this stupid nonsense. Also, if you'd like to hang out or just call me a stupid idiot dummy face, go ahead and check out the Discord. And if you'd like to support more content like this, go ahead and give out the Patreon a check. I hope y'all have yourselves a good day.